One nurture 0 to 1 to the stars. 0 to irreterm fine dating 800. The camera moves slowly across weathered hands, fingers tracing the grain of unfinished wood. 200, Arnon, arrow 6, 300, 10, 900. A half-read book lies abandoned on a side table, its pages yellowed with time. 300 absurd 11,400, 0, 16 and 800 through the window. A garden shows signs of gentle neglect, roses unpruned, pathways softened by creeping moss. 400 17,500, 21,400. There's a question we rarely ask ourselves as we age. 500, 21, 700, 0, 26, 100. Not how long can I live, but how much of me is still truly alive. 600, 26, 600, 32 on 500. Have you ever felt a familiar joy? A passion that once burned bright, now reduced to a distant echo? Saxonern 33, 200. Nichanern 39, 300. The camera settles on an elderly man's profile. Arthur, 72, as he gazes toward a workshop. 800, 39, 600, 42, 500. His fingers unconsciously massage his knuckles. 900, 43,000. 947, 800. What if I told you that the whispers you've been ignoring hold the key to everything? 1000, 48, 500, 00, 54,000. We hear so much about the irreversible changes of aging, the decline of joints, memory, vitality. 11 owner, nor 54, 500, donor, your 56,000. They're not wrong. 1200, Hazard 56, 300, Hazard, Azure 1, Arrow 1, 800. But they've missed something far more powerful. Regeneration, once awakened, is also irreversible. 13, Risin, Shone 1, 02, 500, Dune, 01, 08, 200. The camera reveals Dr. Sharma in her warm, plant-filled office. She's a striking woman in her late 40s. 14, Honor 1, 08, 500, Urwanshi 1, 14, the inner sellers of Indian American heritage. Wearing flowing natural fabrics that speak of both comfort and professionalism. 15, Honraron 01, 14 to 500, Nairon 01, 20 to 500. Her eyes hold the sharpness of a scientist, but her presence radiates the calm of someone who has learned to listen deeply. 16, Horan 01, 21, 200, Zarion 1, 23, 800. The real culprit isn't age itself. 17 order 01, 24, 100, or 01, 25, 500, it's disconnection. 18 and 1, 25, 800, Yuan, 32, years and ones. We've forgotten the language our bodies speak, a language of subtle signals. Gentle requests, quiet warnings. 19, or 1, 32, 500, Zarn, 1, 37, 200. Most of us have been having a one-sided conversation with our bodies for decades. 20, 01, 37, 800, 0, A1, 42, 500. She pauses, her fingers touching a small glass jar filled with pumpkin seeds on her desk. 21, 00, 01, 43, 200, 001, 47, and 500. We wait for the shout, the diagnosis, the fall, the crisis. 22, Ustern, 01, 48,000, or 01, 51, 500. But long before that moment, our bodies have been whispering. 23, 01, 52,000, 01, 57 unknowns. The question isn't whether you can hear them now, it's whether you're willing to listen. 24, 01, 57, 800, 01, 59, 800. I'm Dr. Anya Sharma. 2500, 02, 100, 002, Anafsif Anurun. My entire career has been built on one simple belief. The body whispers before it screams. 26, or 2, in 5, 600. In 2, 11, in. She walks to a window where sunlight filters through leaves, casting dancing shadows on the wall. 27, sure, you 2, 11, 600. Seal you 2, 15, 500. I learned this from my grandmother, a master weaver of saris. Ibwarner 02, 15, 800. Gorno 2, 19, 200. She didn't die of any particular disease. She faded. 29. Usher, or 2, 19, 700. Usur, or 2, 23, Sunernine. Hands that once danced across the loom became hesitant. 30 horn and not 2, 23, 500, oh 2, now 26, 500. Memory of intricate patterns began to blur. 31, 0, 02, 27,000. 0, 02, 30, 800. I watched her lose her vitality long before she lost her life. 32, or 02, 31, 400. 0, 2, 35, 900. Her voice carries the weight of that memory, but also the strength born from it. 33s were 02, 36, 500, 02, 42, 500. That's when I understood we don't need to fight aging. We need to partner with it. 34 number 02, 43,000. 02, 47, 800. We need to relearn the conversation we were always meant to have with our bodies. 35, 1, 02, 48, 400. 1, 50, 500. She picks up the jar of seeds, rolling it gently between her palms. 36, 0, 02, 53, there wasn't ours. 0, 2, 55, 800. Today, I want to share that conversation with you. 37, 0, 02, 56, 100. 0, 03, 01, 800. Not through complex protocols or expensive treatments, but through something so simple, you might dismiss it entirely. 38, Amario 3, or 2, 100, Bono 3, or 6, 800 don't. Sometimes the most profound truths come in the smallest packages. 39, 0, 03, 07, 500. 0, 03, 13, 800. The biggest misconception about aging isn't that it's inevitable. It's that we need complex solutions for complex problems. 40 or 03, 15, 300, 0 or 3, 19, 200. We search for the silver bullet, the breakthrough supplement, the revolutionary treatment. 41, 0, 03, 19, 800. 0, 03, 22, 800. She sets the jar down with deliberate care. 42 Usher, 03, 23, 300. 0, 03, 28, 200. But here's what decades of research have taught me. The body doesn't need a revolution. 43, 003, 28, 500, 003, 30, 800. It needs an invitation. 44, 003, 31, 300. 003, 35, 500. The camera captures her expression, equal parts scientist and healer. 45, 03, 36,000. 003, 4200. We don't ignore our bodies on purpose. We simply were never taught how to listen. 46, 003, 4700. 003, 46, 7. In our youth, our bodies spoke loudly, clearly. A scrape healed overnight. Energy seemed endless. 47, 03, 46, 500. 0003, 49, 500. We took this conversation for granted. 48, 03, 50,000. 03, 55, 800. She moves to a bookshelf lined with both scientific journals and well-worn books on traditional healing. 49, 03, 56, 400. Narrow or 4, narrow. But as we age, our bodies begin to whisper instead of shout. 50 war, 500, or 408, 200. The signals become more subtle, a stiffness that lingers a little longer. An afternoon energy dip that becomes routine. What for 51, Surya 1, 4, Ray 8, 500. Doyer, Warrior 4, 13, 100. A foggy feeling that settles over our thoughts like morning mist. 52, Warzer, 4, 13, 700. 0004, 17, 500. Her voice grows more intimate, as if sharing a secret. 53, 004, 18,000. 004, 20,000. We mistake these whispers for weakness. 54, 004, 20, 300. 004, 25, 800. We push through them, medicate around them, or worst of all, we accept them as our new normal. 55, 04, 26, 300. E0, 04, 29, 200. But what if they're not symptoms of decline? 56, 104, 29, 500. RAR 04, 32, 200. What if they're invitations to tune in? 57, 04 32 800 0 war 36 500. She turns back to the camera, her eyes bright with possibility. 58 04 37,000 0 04 44 500. What if the very thing we've been dismissing as getting old is actually our body's way of saying 59 4 44 800 0 4 49 500. I'm ready to work with you. If you're ready to work with me, 60 100 4 50 200 0 04 56 500. The scene shifts to Arthur's modest home. He's in his kitchen, coffee mug in hand. 61 0 04 56 800 0 05 02 800, but his attention is drawn to the window that overlooks his workshop. The camera captures the longing in his gaze. 62 1 05 03 100 05 07 500. A man staring at a part of himself he's lost touch with. 63 105 or 8000 around 10 800. That workshop, it used to be my sanctuary. 64 5 11 100 17 800. 20 years I've been building things in there. Cabinets, toy chests for the grandkids, a dining table. 65 5 18 100 05 21 200 that took me 3 months to get just right. 66 05 21 700 05 26 200. He sets down his mug and unconsciously flexes his fingers, as if testing their responsiveness. 67 05 26 800 05 29 500. It's not that I can't do it anymore. 68 05 29 800 05 33 800. It's that I don't want to. No, that's not right either. 69 and Maroon 05 34 300 05 35 800. I want to 70 Suri 05 3600 Serenity Summer 37 200. God, I want to 71 Rashurn 05 37 500 Rashurn 05 43 Razen. But when I think about picking up that chisel, about focusing on those fine details under the workshop lights, 72 Iron 05 43 600 Rara 5 46 800. He trails off, his hand rubbing the back of his neck. 73 Zuri 05 47 300 Zuri 05 50 800. My hands don't feel certain anymore. They're the same hands, Warren, but they hesitate. Could be 4 05 51 300 05 57 500. And my eyes, they struggle with the small work. Not blind, just tired. 5 58 Anturs Ursho 6 1 500. Everything feels like it takes more effort than it should. 76 Javru 1 6 2 Nanvino Malers then Ron Yoninks no wait them. The camera slowly pans to show the workshop through the window tools hanging neatly. A half-finished project. 77 or 06 weight 300 0 rusks 10 500 on the workbench. Everything waiting. 78 or 6 11,000 0 6 14 500. I lost something in there. Not my skill that's still in my head. A sever 10 6 15,000 0 6 17 200. I lost to the flow. 80 or 6 17 to 500. No, or 6 18 500. 81 or 6 18 800. Mayri or no 6 23,000. That feeling when you're so absorbed in creating something that time disappears. 82 sure 6 23 500. 6 27 800. When your hands know exactly what to do without your brain having to think about it. 83 is 06 28 400 is 06 30 200. His voice cracks slightly. 84 intro year 6 30 800. New year in 6 37 200. I'm not dying. I'm not sick. But something in me, it's going quiet. 85 Shurn 06 37 500. 0 6 41 200. And I don't know how to turn the volume back up. 86 06 41 800. 06 46. He turns away from the window, but not before the camera catches the moisture in his eyes. 87 06 46 600. 06 50 800. My wife used to say I was most myself when I was out there creating. 88 06 51 300. 06 56 500. Now I catch myself wondering if I'm not that person anymore. Then who am I? 89 6 57 200. Rara 7 2 Usgurns. The scene transitions to Dr. Sharma's office where Arthur sits across from her, somewhat skeptical but curious. Anya 702 600. You're 706 200 Arthur. I'm not going to ask you to overhaul your life. 0 07 06 500. 07 11 800. I'm not going to give you a list of 20 supplements or demand you start running marathons. Montkendi 2 on is year 7 12 400. Mashos year 7 16 500. She slides the small jar of pumpkin seeds across the desk toward him. 07 17,000. 7 19 200. I want to propose a small experiment. 94 0 7 19 500. 0 7 22 asus in 30 days. 1 tablespoon of these seeds each day. My 95 7 22 300 9 07 27 800. No more, no less. We're not looking for miracles here. We're simply extending an invitation to your body. 96 07 28 400. 07 33 800. Arthur picks up the jar, examining it with the careful attention of someone who spent his life working with his hands. 7 07 34 400. 07 36 on 800 pumpkin seeds. That's it. Norio 07 37 400. 07 41 Yenum. I know it sounds almost insulting in its simplicity, but think of it this way. 99 07 41 300. 07 42 800. You're a craftsman. Achurn 07 43. Grid 07 47 200. You know that the most elegant solutions often appear deceptively simple. 1 07 47 500. 07 53 for Cern. A perfectly balanced joint, a smoothly turned spindle. The complexity is in the precision, not the appearance. 102 07 53 600. 07 55 800. She leans forward slightly. 103 where dinner 07 56 300. 08 Shadow 500. These seeds are packed with magnesium, zinc, and other nutrients that act like tuning forks for your body's internal orchestra. 100 or 14 Nawar 8 03 7 Saracen. Editor 08 0 in 200. They don't force change. They simply help your body remember how to play its own song. 105 is 08 800 00 08 14 200. Arthur turns the jar in his hands, and for a moment, his movements have the same careful attention he once gave to wood. 106 or 08 14 800 08 18 1000. And you think this will help me get back to my workshop? 107 08 18 to 500. 08 22 on 800. I think this will help you listen to what your body has been trying to tell you. 108 just 08 23 100. 27 $27. The workshop, well, we'll see what your body has to say about that. 109 08 27 600. 08 32 800. Arthur sits at his kitchen table, a small dish of pumpkin seeds before him. 110 8 33 100. 08 37 son. He takes his first spoonful with the expression of someone humoring a persistent doctor. 111 08 37 600. Anaro 08 41 200 day 1 of whatever this is. They taste like, well, seeds. 112 Jors 41 700. Jors 46 200. Jenny from next door saw me buying them and asked if I was starting a bird feeder. 113 Washer de weight 46 800. Jurors a weight by 51 to Dean. He chuckles to himself. But there's a hint of self-consciousness in his voice. 114 Nauer 08 51 600. Nauer 08 56 800. Doctor, Sharma says I'm supposed to listen to my body. Right now, my body is telling me this is the strangest thing. 115 Surgeon 08 57 100. Surgeon 08 59 500. I've done since retirement. 116 Zuri 9 Zuri 200. Zuri Shani every 200. Arthur is in his kitchen again, but this time he's looking more relaxed. The morning light streams through his window differently. 1 to 17 Ashur or Knine on 5 500 Arson. Are we done 500, or perhaps he's noticing it differently. 118 Uri 09 09 Sun. Uri 09 15 800. Something happened last night. I slept completely. Didn't wake up at 2 a.m. like I have for the past 5 years. 110 Bruno 09 16 100. Muriel 9 20 the Kinananin, maybe longer. I woke up and actually felt rested. 120 is 09 2600. 009 24 to 500. He takes his spoonful of seeds, but this time with less skepticism. 121 or Shine 25,000. Sorry, Shine 31 500. Could be coincidence. Could be that I've been sleeping better because I'm not lying awake wondering if those seeds are doing anything. 122 Zurn 09 32,000. Zurn 09 36 800. But there's something in his voice, a cautious hope he's trying not to acknowledge. 123 Warrior 9 37 500. 09 44 New Sinasan. Arthur is outside, helping his neighbor Jenny carry grocery bags from her car. The camera captures something significant. 124 Honor 09 44 300. 09 49 500. He's walking up her front steps without using the handrail. His movement's more fluid than before. 125 Runner 09 50 Silzen hours. 00 54 800. Arthur, wait a minute. You usually hold onto the railing when you come up these steps. 126 over 09 55 400. Or 1 or Surnurn 200. Arthur stops, suddenly aware of his body in a way he hasn't been in years. 127 01 Sure Sir 800. 01 Sir 500. I didn't even think about it. I just walked up. 128 01 0005 7 010 is 7 500. When's the last time you did that? 129 01 008 Susan 01 01 12 500. Arthur considers this, his expression shifting from surprise to something deeper recognition. 130 01 01 13 turn. Donor 1 01 17 200. I honestly can't remember. How long have I been holding onto railings without realizing it? 131 01 1 17 800. Down 1 1 25 Kugian. That evening, Arthur sits in his living room, but he's no longer avoiding the view of his workshop. Instead, he's studying it. 132 01 01 25 300. 01 01 28 500 with the same focused attention he once gave to his projects. 133 01 01 29 Irahan 01 1 34 Dinancherns. The thing about whispers, you have to be quiet to hear them. 134 01 01 34 300. 01 1 39 Dirun. I've been so focused on what I couldn't do, what felt harder, that I missed what was actually happening. 135 01 01 39 600. Joy 1 01 43 800. He flexes his fingers, but this time it's exploratory rather than worried. 136 01 01 44 300. 1 50 Kursuan. These hands, they don't feel heavy anymore. I hadn't even realized they felt heavy until they didn't. 137, 01, 01, 50, 600. 101, 56, 500. Arthur is standing at his kitchen counter, and something has shifted in his entire demeanor. He's more upright, more present. 138, 01, 01, 57, 02, 03, 800. The camera catches him unconsciously tapping a rhythm on the counter, the same rhythm he used to tap when thinking through a problem. 139, 02, 04, 400, is 2, 7, 500. I can't explain it in any way that makes sense. 140, 02, 07, 800. 02, 14, 200. It's not like I suddenly feel 20 years younger. It's more like I've been carrying a weight I didn't know was there. 141, 02, 84, 500, 02, 17, 200, and someone just lifted it off my shoulders. 142, 02, 17, 800, 02, 22, 800. He looks directly at the camera, his eyes clearer than they've been in any previous scene. 143, 02, 23, 400, 02, 28, 800 this morning. I woke up and the first thing I thought wasn't about my stiff joints or whether I'd slept enough. 144, 02, 29, 300, 02, 32, 09. I thought about the smell of pine shavings. 145, 02, 32, 300, 02, 36, 200. I thought about the way light falls across my workbench in the afternoon. 146, 02, 36, 800, 02, 39, 800. His voice grows softer, more wondering. 147, 02, 40, 300, 02, 45, 500. I thought about the project I left unfinished, not with dread, but with curiosity. 148, 02, 46,000, 02, 49,000. Like maybe I want to see how it ends. 149, 02, 49, 600. Into 56, 200, Doctor. Sharma appears again, this time with subtle graphics that illustrate her metaphor, not clinical diagrams, but artistic representations. 150, 02, 56, 500, and 259, 200 that feel organic and alive. 151, 02, 59, 700, 03, 03, 500. What Arthur is experiencing isn't magic, it's biology. 152, 03, 03, 800, 03, 08, 200. But biology at its most elegant, most interconnected. Imagine your body as a symphony orchestra. 153, 03, 08, 800, 3, 14, Shunanomasun. The visual metaphor begins to unfold a gentle, artistic representation of an orchestra where each instrument glows with soft, warm light. 154, 03, 14, 600, 020, Sun. For decades, we've been taught to think of nutrients as isolated actors. Take this for your heart, that for your brain. 155, 03, 20, 300, 03, 25, 500. Something else for your joints. But your body doesn't work in isolation. It works as an ensemble. 156, 03, 26, 100, 03, 28, 500. Magnesium is your conductor. 157, 03, 28, 800. 03, 34 to 800. It doesn't play an instrument itself, but it coordinates over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body. 158, 03, 35, 300, 03, 40, 200. When your conductor is tired, overwhelmed, or simply absent, the entire orchestra falls into chaos. 159, 03, 40, 800, 03, 45, Tunen. The visual shows a conductor's baton guiding various sections of the orchestra. 160, 03, 45, 600, 350, 7. Those 2 a.m. wake-ups Arthur experienced, his nervous system was playing off-key. 161, 03, 50, 500, 355, 800. The conductor couldn't signal the musicians when to rest, when to play softly, when to pause. 162, 03, 56, 300, 04, 01, 0. Arthur's deep sleep wasn't a miracle. It was his conductor returning to the podium. 163, 04, 01, 600, 04, 07, 800. Zinc is like the first chair violin. It leads the melody of immune function and cellular repair. 164, 04, 08, 300, 04, 14, hours. It ensures that every note of healing, every phrase of recovery, is played with clarity and precision. 165, 04, 14, and 600, 04, 1800, 500. The visual focuses on a violin, its strings vibrating with golden light. 166, 04, 19,000, 04, 22,000 hours. When zinc is deficient, the melody becomes muddled. 167, 4, 22, 300, 04, 29, 200 wounds heal slowly. Energy feels flat, and that sense of vitality, that clear, bright note that makes you feel like yourself. 168, 4, 29, 500, 4, 31, Surzin begins to fade. 169, 04, 31, 300. 04, 38, Usenas, Arthur's newfound steadiness. That feeling of certainty in his hands is the sound of his first chair violin playing true. 170, 04, 38, 600, 4, 41, 200. Pumpkin seeds aren't the entire orchestra. 171, 4, 41, 500, 04, 45, 800. They're the tuning fork, a simple, precise tool that helps key musicians find their proper pitch. 172, 04, 46, 400, 4, 51, Dunsalson. The visual shows a tuning fork creating ripples of harmonic light throughout the orchestra. 173, 04, 51, 600, 04, 56, 800. They don't create the music, they allow the music that was always there to emerge. 174, 04, 57, 300, 05, 04, 500. When Arthur's body received this gentle, consistent source of magnesium and zinc, it was like giving his internal orchestra the pitch reference it had been missing. 175, 05, 05, 100, 05, 10, 200. This is why isolated supplements often fail, why quick fixes disappoint us. 176, 05, 10, 500, 05, 16, Sonnen. You can't improve a symphony by only focusing on the trumpets or only tuning the violins. 177, 5, 16, 300, a 5 or 19, 800. You need the entire ensemble working in harmony. 178, 05, 20, 400, 05, 26 to 500. She pauses, and the camera catches the light in her eyes, the look of someone who has witnessed transformation many times. 179, 05, 26, 800, 05, 29, 500, and never stops being moved by it. 180, 5, 30,000, 05, 34, 800. Arthur's journey back to his workshop isn't about pumpkin seeds defeating age. 181, 05, 35, 100, 05, 41, 200. It's about his body remembering how to play its own song. The seeds simply provided the tuning fork. 182, 05, 41, 500, 05, 44, 800. That helped every section find its voice again. 183, 45, 400, 05, 51, 500. The late afternoon sun streams through Arthur's living room windows, casting long, golden shadows across the hardwood floor. 184, 05, 52,000, 05, 59, Schachten. Arthur sits in his favorite chair, his hands resting on his knees, but there's something different about his posture. 185, 05, 59, 300, 06, 03, 800. He's not guarding against discomfort. He's simply present. 186, 06, 04, 400, 06, 12,000 hours. Today, for no reason at all, I miss the smell of pine. I miss the weight of a chisel in my hand. 187, 06, 12, 300, 06, 16,000 hours. The way it wants to move along the grain if you just listen to it. 188, 1 year, 6, 16, 600, 6, 2,000. He looks down at his hands, turning them over slowly, as if seeing them for the first time in years. 189, 06, 22, 600, 6, 27. I miss the sound of the plane shaving off paper-thin curls of wood. 190, 06, 27, 300, 630, 500. I miss the way sawdust catches the light. 191, 06, 31,000, 06, 33, 800. His voice grows stronger, more certain. 192, 06, 34, 300, 06, 41, 500. I missed myself. The part of me that creates things. The part that gets lost for hours in the meditation of making something beautiful. 193, 06, 41, 800, 644,000 from something raw. 194, 06, 44, 600, sing, 50,000. He stands slowly, but not with the careful calculation of someone protecting fragile joints. 195, 06, 50, 300, 06, 53,000 hours. He moves with intention, with anticipation. 196, 06, 53, 600, 06, 57, 800. I don't know if I can still turn that spindle the way I used to. 197, 06, 58, 100, 07, 02, 0. I don't know if my eyes can still catch those fine details. 198, 7, 2, 300, 705, 200. But you know what I want to find out? 199, 07, 05, 800, 07, 11, 500. The camera follows him as he walks to his back door, his hand reaching for the handle with the same reverence. 200, 07, 11, 800, 07, 14 on 200. He once reserved for his finest tools. 2 on 1, 07, 14, 800. You're 7, 16, 500. I want to go home. 202, or 7, 17, the reason, 7, 22, 800. He opens the door, and afternoon light floods in, illuminating his face as he steps toward his workshop. 203, 07, 23, 300, 7, 26,000. He doesn't pick up a tool immediately. 204, 07, 26, 300, 07, 33, 200. He simply stands there, breathing deeply, and smiles the kind of smile that comes from recognizing something precious. 2157, 33, 500, 07, 36. You thought you'd lost forever. 206, 07, 36, 600, 07, 42 to 500. Dr. Sharma returns to the screen, but now she's in a different setting, a sun-dappled garden where the light shifts gently. 207, 07, 42, 800, 745,000 through leaves above her. 208, 07, 45, 500, 07, 51, 500. Arthur's story isn't just about pumpkin seeds. It's about a principle of living that we can apply to every aspect of our later years. 209, 07, 52,000, 7, 56,000 on. She walks along a garden path, her movements unhurried and purposeful. 210, 07, 56 to 500, 808, 0, Sigusen. The pumpkin seeds were Arthur's tuning fork, but your tuning fork might be something entirely different. 211, 08, 500, 805, 200. It might be a short walk each morning when the world is still quiet. 212, 08, 05, 700, 08, 11. It might be a cup of chamomile tea before bed, creating a gentle ritual that signals rest to your nervous system. 213, 08, 11, 600, 08, 16 to 500. She pauses beside a flowering bush, touching its petals with the same gentle attention she gave to the jar of seeds. 214, 8, 17, 100, 08, 24, 200. It might be 5 minutes of deep breathing, or writing 3 sentences in a journal, or playing a piece of music. 215, 08, 24 to 500, 08, 27, 200 that makes your heart recognize itself. 216, 08, 27 to 500, your seat 32, 800. The specific practice matters less than the consistency, the gentleness, the act of listening. 2 Svenderheen or 8, 33, 400, 08, 37, 200. Her voice takes on the quality of someone sharing a deeply held truth. 218, 08, 37, 800, 08, 41, 200. The question isn't whether you can hear your body's whispers now. 219, 08, 41, 500, 843, 800. The question is, are you willing to experiment? 220, 08, 44, 100, 08, 50, $2,000. Are you willing to try something so simple that your skeptical mind might dismiss it? And then pay attention. Hanacha 221 08 50 600 08 54 800. She turns to face the camera directly, her expression both challenging and compassionate. 222 08 55 400 09 01 800. Your body has been waiting for this conversation. It's been patient, sending signal after signal, whisper after whisper. 223 wine 02 300 Uskuntin 07 $. It's ready to work with you if you're ready to work with it. Now 224 9 7 600 914 200. The setting shifts to a warmly lit kitchen where Dr. Sharma demonstrates the preparation of pumpkin seeds. 225 19 14 500 09 19 200. But her approach is more like a cooking show hosted by a wise friend than a clinical demonstration. Surdu and 26 09 19 800. Surnian 25 Sunnis. If you're ready to begin your own experiment in listening, let's start with the basics. 227 09 25 300. Was 9 30 200. But remember, this isn't about perfect execution. It's about gentle consistency. Not 228 09 30 800. 09 30 for that. She holds up a bag of raw, organic pumpkin seeds. 229 09 34 500. 09 36 800. Choose organic when possible. 230 09 37 100 9 42 200. These seeds have been allowed to develop their full nutritional potential without interference. 231 or 9 42 500 9 46 500. Think of them as letters written in a more complete alphabet. 232 09 47,000. 09 50,000. Start with 1 tablespoon daily. Not more, not less. 230 year 3 09 50 300. 09 56,000. Your body appreciates consistency more than intensity. This isn't a race, it's a conversation. And conversations require patience. 234 09 56 600 10 in on 800. She measures out a tablespoon, the seeds falling into her palm with a soft, satisfying sound. 235 10 or 2 400 10 or 8 200. Some people prefer them raw. Others find them easier to digest when lightly roasted. There's no wrong way. 236 10 08 500 10 11,000. Only the way that feels right for your body. 237 10 11 500 10 16 500. If you choose to roast them, just a few minutes in a dry pan until they begin to puff slightly. 238 10 16 800 10 22,000. You're not cooking them, you're awakening them. The gentle heat helps your body access their nutrients more easily. 239 10 22 600 10 26 500. The camera captures the seeds beginning to release their nutty aroma. 240 10 27,000 10 31,000. Some people soak them overnight in water with a pinch of salt. 241 10 31 300. 10 35,000. This sends an even gentler invitation to your digestive system. 242 10 35 300. 10 39 800. Think of it as knocking softly on the door rather than ringing the bell. 243 10 40 400. 10 45 to 500. Take them at the same time each day. This isn't about rigid rules, it's about creating a rhythm. 244 10 45 800. 10 50 200. Your body can anticipate and respond to. Maybe with your morning coffee, maybe as an afternoon snack. 245 10 50 800. 10 54 500. She demonstrates sprinkling the seeds over a simple salad. 246 10 55,000 Mars. 1100 500. You can eat them plain, sprinkle them on salads, stir them into yogurt, or blend them into smoothies. 247 11 or 800. 1107 500. The method matters less than the mindfulness. Each time you take them, pause for just a moment. Notice the texture, the taste. 248 11 or 7 800. 1110 200. The simple act of nourishing yourself. 249 1110 800. 1116,000 nouns. Keep a small notebook or simply make mental notes. Not about dramatic changes, about whispers. 250, 11, 16, 500. 11, 22,000. Did you sleep a little more soundly? Did you walk upstairs without thinking about it? 2 for 51, 11, 22, 300. 11, 26, 500. Did you find yourself humming a song you haven't thought of in years? 252, 11, 27,000. 11:30, 500. She looks directly at the camera with gentle intensity. 253, 11:31, 11:36 to 500. The magic isn't in the seeds themselves. It's in the act of listening that they make possible. 254, 11:37, 200. 11:44, 500. The final scene returns to Arthur's workshop, but now it's alive with gentle activity. Arthur is guiding his young grandson. 255, 11:44, 800. 11:48, 800 through the process of sanding a small piece of wood, both of them completely absorbed in the work. 256, 11:49, 300. 11:55,000. The afternoon light catches the fine dust motes dancing in the air, and both generations are laughing softly at something. 257, 11:55, 300. 11:57, 500. Only they can hear. 258, 11:58,000. 12:01, 800. Your health journey isn't a checklist to complete. It's a conversation without an end. 259, 12:02, 300. 12:07, 500. A daily practice of listening, responding, and trusting the wisdom that's been with you all along. 260, 12:08, 200. 12,000. The camera pulls back to show the broader scene, the workshop, the garden beyond. 261, 12 and 12, 300. 12 to 14 and 800, the life continuing to unfold. 262, 12, 15, 400. 12:22 to 500. So tell me, what's the first whisper you'll listen to today? Share your own experiment in listening in the comments below. 263, 12,23,000 $. 12,28,000. Your story might be the inspiration someone else needs to begin their own journey home to themselves. 264, 12,28, 600. 12,34,000. Arthur looks up from his work, meeting the camera's gaze with eyes that are clear, present, and fully alive. 265, 12:34, 600. 12:38, 500. Don't wait for the screams. Learn to dance to the whispers. 266, 12:39, 200. 12:46, $1,000. The screen fades to black, but the sound of gentle work continues, the whisper of sandpaper on wood. 267 on 12:46, 300. 12:51, 500. The soft murmur of conversation between generations, the sound of a life fully lived,